another Entertainer Spotlight, and today I have an amazing person, a very inspirational person, and a good friend of mine, Donna Joseph. Donna, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
How are you doing? You okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, I'm busy considering it's lockdown, and yeah, I'm good, really good.
How long have you been with Non-Stop Kids now? Feels like forever.
It does, doesn't it? I think it's 3 years now. I think it was in April. I did my training with Tiffany in March 2017.
Wow.
And officially sort of qualified, if you like, with Non-Stop Kids in the April. So we've passed that now. So 3 years.
Wow, that's amazing. That's
I know.
amazing. And you are, for those of people that are just watching this and don't know about Donna, you are amazing. Your feedback is always brilliant. People absolutely love you, and you are the sort of person that just puts 150% into anything that you do, that you don't know the words half-arse. You know, you just, it's either go big or go home for you. And, you know, yeah. I love you about that. You're just great. I mean, you just embody, in my opinion, what a professional entertainer should be.
Oh,
and it's true, you are amazing. But I want to talk all about you because you're a very interesting person. And children's entertainment is just one small part of what you do. Now, let's start at the beginning. Have you always been interested in performing? Did you do much performing before joining Non-Stop Kids? Tell us all about...
I did. In fact, drama was the only thing that I really did very well at school.
Right.
And I was in Bugsy Malone when I was at primary school, and sang my heart out, and even shocked myself and the audience with what came out. It was just like, once I was up there, and it just like, the first, actually it was two performances. The first performance, I was really shy and like nothing really came out. And then the second performance, something happened, and it just was like, you know, and even like everyone was like, what? And even it was so shocking. So I think inside I've been an entertainer,
Right.
but it was kind of locked away, if you like. But drama was definitely something I was always interested in, and I got into the National Youth Theatre when I was 14.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was. Again, it shocked the hell out of me. I did this audition in Birmingham, actually. I lived in Nottingham, but I came to Birmingham with my dad. And I think my dad thought it was a waste of time, but he was just, you know, he was pleasing me anyway. And I did really well, and I got in, you know, amongst thousands and thousands of people. They only wanted like 20, and I was one of them. That's so cool. Yeah, I think it's always been in there, you know.
That's amazing. That's about. So did you said it's been locked away. Did you, what, after school, did you do more performing, or did you kind of take a step?
To be honest, I'll tell you where I did actually, when I moved to London, I went to Mount View Theatre School.
Okay.
And but I didn't, to be honest, I became a telesales agent, and to me that was the one of the biggest acting jobs ever.
Yeah.
And I earned some really good money out of it as well. I mean, it was basically acting over the phone. You know, they give you a script, and as long as it doesn't sound like you're working from a script, then it, you know, and I was only young, and I was selling like so-called long life fluorescent lights. Obviously it's showing my age now. We're obviously all LEDs now, but these were the long lights. They were long life, supposedly, and I would have the spiel, and you know, at the age of like 19, 20, I was earning about £900 a week.
Wow.
Selling fluorescent lights that supposedly lasted for 12 years. So that kind of took over, and no, I didn't go until I started getting into children's entertaining, which was about a couple of years before I found you guys. I hadn't really done anything with it. I did do a show reel. I quit. I think I got made redundant from after the telesales job. I became customer services, and I sort of went up the ranks. And then I got asked if I took redundancy. And because I had some money in my pocket, I actually went and did a presenting course.
Okay.
And it was all the old crew from Grange Hill.
Oh, wow.
So all the actors that had left Grange Hill, obviously, because they're older now, a lot of them had set up this learn how to be a presenter workshop. And I did that for a weekend and had my show reel. And yeah, I look back at it and it's like, wow, I didn't do anything with it. I didn't kind of do anything with that show reel. I think I sent it off to QVC Shopping.
Mm-hmm.
And what I should have done, Craig, and I realise now, is I should have sent that to some like CBBS or...
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But it wasn't the children's work that I did. I did very, very much serious type presenting. So it wasn't really the right show reel for that. But in hindsight, I think if I'd done sort of kids work and sent it to play school or something like that, I probably would have got somewhere.
And what made you decide to? So at that point in your life, you were like focused on maybe doing more of a serious presenting role. What made you decide to kind of try kids entertaining? Where did that come from?
Well, I always kind of, I don't know if you know what I mean with this, but in your gut when you know you're likely to be good at something.
Yeah. So
you know it, and it's sort of locked in there. And over the years, I've started to realise that you've got to, it's down to us ourselves to bring that out of ourselves if we want to do it. Otherwise, it's going to stay locked in there forever. And it's the same with like radio presenting. So I'm a radio presenter now, as you know, for Birmingham's Hospital Radio, and that was always something that I dreamed of as well. So I did it. Just give it a go and do it. And that's what I try and say to a lot of people. Look, if there's something you want to do, go out there and do it and try it. And if it doesn't work, at least you can say, I tried it.
That's
you
great.
know. And have I lost you?
No, I'm here.
Oh yeah, you're there. Sorry, you went off screen. So that's kind of how it was with children's entertaining. Deep down, I knew, or I thought I knew, I could be really good at it.
You are. There's no question about it. You are. So you started doing children's entertainment, and you've got your own company outside of working with Non-Stop Kids. The name of that company is
Party Magic DJ.
And just so you know, where can people find that?
So people can find that on Facebook, Party Magic DJ. But I'll just tell you a little story about what really got me into this, getting in touch with you guys.
Okay.
And that was after reading Brad Burton's book, Now What? So I read that book. I met Brad at a Christmas party, a 4N Christmas party. Callum McNichol invited me. I wasn't a member of 4N then. He invited me and introduced me to Brad. Brad gave me one of his books, signed it, and I enjoyed the Christmas party, came home, read it. It was one of those books that I couldn't put down, and I read in about 3 days. Absolutely brilliant. Awesome. And I recommend it to anyone. Because what that helped me do, that book, is it helped me to really think about what it was I wanted to do in my life.
Yeah.
And Brad puts it across in a way that if you really want to do something and you really want to make it work, then find something to do to enable you to do it.
Yeah.
And I was working, again, I was doing telemarketing from home, fairly good money, but it was really tying me down. And it meant that all these wonderful ideas I had, I couldn't do because I was just on the phone all the time, Monday to Friday. That book inspired me to find something that I could do at the weekends. Mm-hmm. And that's how I found Non-Stop Kids and started working with you guys. I was not expecting it to kind of, I don't know, 3 years later to still be like, and for it to just get better and better and better. But it has, which is great because I've just loved every minute.
Well, you know, as you know, I'm really good friends with Brad. I'm very glad you met him because, as I said, we love having you part of Non-Stop Kids. It's absolutely awesome. And I know you get busy with the stuff that you're doing outside of Non-Stop Kids as well, but we just love the fact that you're still there for us, and that's just awesome. You know, you are amazing. Now, you talked about it a little bit, but you do radio DJing. How did that come about? And is that a similar skill set to entertaining children or performing, or do you have?
It kind of is in a way, because what happens for me when it's like an alter ego. It's like as soon as I get the microphone on or I get in front of the children, something switches. Yeah. And I turn into, I would say DJ Donna is what a lot of the kids call me from my own business. So I turn into this entertainer. Something takes over, and it's just, I'm there with the kids. It's almost like I'm not aware of the parents or anything that's going on. And I think that's maybe why I get good feedback, because I am 150% with those kids. Like with engagement, you know, and NLP, I've done neuro-linguistic programming as well. And I think when I finished that course, that engagement and that was even more focused. I was just like, I'm in there. Yeah. And the same sort of happens when I get my headset on and I'm in front of the microphone on the radio. It's like, right, go. And yeah, just switch into that mode. So there is a similarity, really.
And how did it come about? Did you approach the hospital, or did they approach you? Or
I you know, and another thing I say to a lot of people, I think, you know what, if you really want something badly enough and you daydream about it and you visualize it, then you get it. And I've got a lot of stories around that I'm sure I will write a book one day, because I've got so many testimonials, personal ones, that prove that this works. And that's one of them. I was sat around a restaurant table. It was my uncle's 70th birthday party. I can't go into this now because I'd be here all day, but I was adopted, and I didn't know any of my birth family until around 18 years ago. Okay. And I found my birth mother's brother, who was my uncle, whose 70th birthday it was. And by this time, I'd got to know my cousins, and my husband was there. Ty was just a baby. And I was sat next to my cousin's new fiance. And my cousin had told me that he works at hospital radio a few weeks back. And I was sat next to him. And just, you know, making conversation, I was like, oh, I hear you. You know, you work at a hospital radio. It's something I've always wanted to do, I said. And he was like, oh. I said, what do you do there? He says, well, I do all the training and I do all the recruitment. he was like, well, he said, I'm the person you need to talk to. So he said, but you do need to go to the program controller. There is a recruitment process, but tell him that I've spoken to you and get in touch. Here's the email, get in touch, see what happens. I did that. There was a bit of a waiting list, but I eventually got in, had an interview, and that's how it happened.
That's great. That's awesome.
And I've been there now 8 years.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Now, there's another element of what you do that I'm aware of. You are a public speaker. I'm not going to say you're a motivational speaker. You're more of an inspirational speaker. And I think anybody that's listened to this interview at this point will know that you're a very inspirational person. How did that come about? Because that's very different. Well, it's similar in a way in that you're presenting and you know you're standing in front of people, but it's different as well. Where did the inspiration?
Yeah. So again, I mean, part of the book, the Now What book, a lot of what I wanted to do and I wanted to train to do and I wanted to have the time to do in the week involved the speaking, the coaching, the writing, and I just didn't have time to do all of those things. And that's why I wanted to find something at the weekends that would provide me an income to pay the bills, so that I had Monday to Friday to do all these things. So I started with Speak Up, which is a Speak Up. I mean, it's quite expensive now, but when I started 3-4 years ago, I think it was £40 a month, and I learned the right. I was speaking before then, but I wasn't trained.
Yeah.
So I would still do talks at schools, but I'd walk up and down and up and down. And when you're a speaker, you soon learn that that's actually perhaps not how you get attention, standing there and your tone of voice and all of these things I learned. And I did that. I was able to do that because I'd started working with you guys. So I did all my training, and then yeah, and again, it's something more that I want to do. It's part of my bigger vision is speaking and inspiring, motivating.
And what's your niche? Like, for example, Brad, when he speaks, he focuses on small business owners because that's who can relate to him, because obviously he was a small business owner and he's been very successful. What's your niche? Where do you like to speak?
Yeah, it's very much around mindset, and primarily I don't like to say women, because it's men and women that I will support. Primarily though, when I look at, say, my ideal avatar audience, she's a woman.
Okay.
And she's a woman like me that has had a childhood that perhaps wasn't great, but locked inside there's something extremely special, and I believe we've all got that locked inside of all of us. Yes. But if I was to sort of home in on a particular audience, because I believe that's what you have to do to get all your marketing and messaging right, it's around working on their mindset. It's around working on moving them from the past. It's a part of you, and really, you know, I talked a lot about dreams and manifestations in this call. It's a big part of it, because I absolutely know for a fact that if you dream about something, if you want something badly enough, and you put it out there, you will get it.
It's very true. Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. That's very, very interesting, because again, it's a very transferable skill, which is wonderful. Here's a question for you. What's next? Because you've talked about how you wanted to be a radio DJ, tick. You wanted to work with children, tick. You wanted to be an inspirational speaker, tick. What's next? What's on the bucket list?
Do you know what? It's almost like my worst enemy in some ways, because, and I don't know if it's because I'm a Gemini as well. It's like, and maybe it's because I feel like I had been locked away in myself for so long. It's like now it's like, right, I've got to do all these things, and something will come along, and I'm learning from this. I'm learning a lot from a coach that I've got to stop doing this, but something come along. I can do that. I'll do that. I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. Then inevitably, you don't end up really getting anything done, because you're taking on too much. Yeah. So, because I'm also an ambassador for Tropic Skincare as well.
Wow.
So,
in your spare time.
This period that we've, it's almost been a little bit of a godsend for me.
Yeah.
Because it's given me the time to really get my head down on this, which involves speaking. It involves writing my book, sharing my story, and ultimately helping and supporting others. And my big mission, if I'm honest, Craig, is around children. The big mission is, I believe every child should have unconditional love. I think if every child had unconditional love from someone, then that would be forever, and therefore we wouldn't have half the issues that we've got in this world today. So that's like the big mission. And I think that's why I love putting smiles on kids' faces and doing what I do. So I just want to kind of build something that's going to help others to then help me to be able to support this vision that I've got.
That's great. And do you have separate social media for you as an inspirational speaker? Is there a separate website or social media that people can contact you on, or is it all on?
Yeah, so I've got a few pages on Facebook. So the page that I'm not doing too much with it at the moment, because I think everything will be, what I was kind of doing before when I was building this was I was hiding behind other things. So I was creating titles and hiding behind them. Yeah. And then slowly, as I've been working on all of this, ultimately I've been working on myself as well as part of the journey. And it will be me. It will be Donna Joseph. So my Instagram will be Donna Joseph. My Facebook will be Donna Joseph as a public figure. And it's me, you know, this is my story. This is me. I do have various Facebook pages. So if you find me, Donna Joseph, you will see a lot of pages that I've got. One of them, which I'm bringing to life very soon, is Adopted and Finding My Family, because I'm very passionate about adoption and fostering. I think there's far too many children out there, and there's also loads of potential families and couples that could give them the home that they're desperate for.
Yeah.
So I've decided to use that page to try and encourage more people to come forward for these children by doing interviews. It's quite strange, me being interviewed by you.
Yeah,
because
it's not really the thing that you do, isn't it?
I do it. I don't think I've ever been interviewed. So, but that's what I want to do, to try and, because, you know, my story is quite inspiring in itself on how I got adopted. And it was just by my mum picking up a magazine. And if my mum hadn't have picked up that magazine, I may not have been adopted. And it was as simple, it was as fine-lined as that. So it's like, how many more people out there could potentially listen to an interview that I do, and that actually makes them go and talk to their husband about potentially adopting a child. And I just think, wow, that is, after having that page for so many years, I now realize what the purpose is, and I'm so passionate about that.
Great. And what I like about you is, and as you know, I know a lot of speakers, I know a lot of people who tell people that they're speakers, and you remind me very much of Brad in that you're genuine. I've seen a lot of speakers that are just fake. I'm not going to name names, but I've seen a lot of speakers that just they don't believe in what they're saying. But you're genuine, you're real, and you're relatable, which is just amazing. And you know what you should do? You should, completely digressing off this interview, you should set up a podcast.
Yes, that is something that's been on my list for a long time.
And have guests in that. Yeah, it would be amazing. I would listen to that. I think you'd make a great podcast. I think you should set up a podcast.
That's on my list. I've got so many things, so many ideas.
Oh, dear me. Circling back to kids' entertainment very, very quickly, there's a lot of people that are listening to this, and we know this from looking at the figures. There's a lot of people that are listening to these entertainer spotlights that have an interest in entertainment. They want to become an entertainer, and they don't really know where to go or what to do, or maybe they don't know how to take it further. You've achieved everything that you've wanted to achieve. Have you got any advice for people that are listening to this that want to become an entertainer or want to be doing something else and they don't really know where to go or what to do?
Well, I'd say, I mean, starting with you guys, I'd say is probably one of the best things that they could do, because I did do some children's entertainment with another company before you guys, and I was very much kind of thrown in and left to my own devices. Whereas with Non-Stop Kids, I have had so much support from the beginning. I mean, the training was brilliant, because you see, because I knew that, and people that are thinking about it have probably, maybe like me, have got this feeling like, I think I could be good at it. There's something in there, and there is, like, you know, we've got some people come out of Non-Stop Kids, an amazing balloon modelist. Some of them are really good at the engagement, which is my thing. Some of them, it's the magic, but they know deep down that there's something that's like, I want to give it a go. And I would say, if you've got that something in your gut telling you, then get in touch with you guys, because one thing that you guys do is you literally you give the entertainers the plan of what to do, and you show them how to do it, and it's a whole routine. You don't have to, and you shouldn't in the beginning anyway, step out of that. So you're giving them everything, and I think that is a weight in gold for someone that's thinking about maybe doing it. Get in touch with you guys, and I feel I can say that because I know you're growing, and you need, you know, and I love the training that is ongoing as well. And then, because once you start doing it, stick to the ropes. It's like the script with the telemarketing, stick to that. And then once you start getting confident and you're not as nervous in front of the kids, you start your own gifts start to come out, and that's when you can you know, you make the entertainment side your own, you become your own style, and that's when the magic really happens. Because and sometimes I've done a show, a magic show, or whatever I've done, and I'm not even aware of what's just happened, but it just, something within me takes over.
Yeah.
And that's what will happen if it's meant to be. So if you've got that feeling that I want to do it, just go out there and do it, because at least then, like I said earlier, if it doesn't work for you, you can tick that off as you tried.
Yeah.
And rather than go through life thinking, oh, I could have done that, I wish I'd done that. And that's the last thing you want. No one should have that.
I totally agree with you. Completely agree. That is wonderful advice. One last question, and then we're going to go on to the quick fire round, which is, parents are listening to this as well. A lot of parents listen to this interview. What one piece of advice would you give to a parent planning a kid's birthday party based on so many years of experience to make sure that their party is a success? There's a lot of people that book us for the first time. They've never booked an entertainer before. They're planning their very first party. They want it to be a success. Obviously, the big piece of advice is book Donna from Non-Stop Kids. But outside of that, once they've done that and they've got in the bag, is there anything, one piece of advice you can give them to say, this is what you need to do to make sure it's a success?
I don't know if I can think. To make it a success, I don't know if I can answer that. The one thing that comes, the one thing that comes to mind is there was one. I had a party that could have been absolutely disastrous, and it was because the mum hadn't completely, fully confirmed how she was getting in the hall.
Right.
So because of that, and she didn't have the number to the caretaker, and she didn't, I don't know, because I've never really been on the other end of it. I've always been the entertainer, but obviously there's a process that you go through. Speak to the entertainer and make sure you've got all the things ticked to get into that hall, because I had to do this party in the car park.
Wow.
Because she didn't have the keys to the hall.
Oh my God.
And all the numbers that she called, she couldn't get through.
Oh my God.
Thankfully, it wasn't raining, and I had all the children out, and there was a part of the car park where the cars weren't there, and we managed to draw it off so the cars weren't going to go in that part, and we basically had the party in the car park for the first half of the car park. So that's first. I'm sure there's another tip I'll think of as soon as this interview's over, but that was one thing that
really important.
well, because of that, I now mention it to when I speak to the parents. You know, double check that you've got that, because I mean, if it had been raining, all the kids were turning up. I mean, it would have been horrible if we hadn't have been able to do anything. But I just went on to autopilot and made it happen for the kids, and it was kind of made it more exciting for everyone in a way. And then we went in the hall, and I think some of the kids were like, "Aw, I want to stay out here." But it's not something a parent wants to go through. I mean, the panic that she went through, you can imagine. Parents are starting to turn up for the party with their kids all dressed up in their party stuff, can't get in the hall. So just double check and make sure, if you can, get the keys beforehand, way beforehand, get in there way beforehand to make sure that doesn't happen.
Very good advice. Now, we are doing something a little bit different now. Let me just, we are, and I knew this would be an amazing interview, and it would, but we're now going to move on to, we're going to have a quick fire round. I'm going to give you 3.5 minutes to answer as many questions as you can.
I hate things like this.
We have been holding a leaderboard of the entertainers that answer the most questions in 3.5 minutes, and up until about 2 weeks ago it was David from Liverpool, mainly because he's a Scouser and he can speak 100 words to everyone else's one. However, 2 weeks ago, Pete Mallet, who's been with the company from the very beginning, he brought it back to Team Midland, so it's Pete currently on top. But we'll see how you do, Donna. I'm going to ask you questions. I know you're going to be brilliant. You're going to have to answer them as quickly as you can. Are you ready?
No, not really, but yeah.
I have my little timer thing here. Let me just get the timer on. Right, okay, here we go. Right, okay, so, hang on. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Can't find my... Right, okay, here we go. So you have 3 minutes. There you go. And your 3.5 minutes, and your time starts now. If you could buy any type of food right now, what would you buy?
Donut.
Love it. What color is your toothbrush?
Brown.
If you could be any type of animal, what would you be and why?
Cat, because I could just relax and find a new owner if it wasn't the ones I had weren't any good.
Love it. Who's your favorite superhero and why?
Spider-Man, because he can climb up walls.
Love it. Who do you admire the most?
Oh, who do I admire most? I don't know. I'm just going to say Beyonce, just because she's admirable.
She's awesome. What is your favorite summer activity?
Summer activity.
Mm-hmm.
Laying on the grass or laying on the beach.
Love it. If a movie was made of your life, what genre would it be and who would play you?
It would definitely be drama and oh gosh, Halle Berry maybe would play me.
Halle Berry would be a great choice. Absolutely. Also, awesome actress. If you could be any flavor ice cream, what ice cream flavor would you be and why?
Chocolate, because I love it.
Love it. If you could go anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
Thailand.
Are you a morning or a night person?
Night.
What's your favorite hobby?
Radio presenting.
What's the one thing that annoys you the most?
My husband when he's in a bad mood.
Describe yourself in 3 words.
Positive, proactive, and motivated.
Love it. If you were given a boat today, what would you call your boat?
Joan.
If you could trade lives, if you could trade lives with anyone for a day, who would it be and why?
Oh, I'd trade lives with my son, because he's having a great time.
I go for a Freaky Friday thing going on there. That's awesome. And if you could have any superpower, what would you want?
If I could have a superpower, I would want to use that power to make everybody happy and just not take life so seriously.
Love it, love it. Okay, and if you could be invisible, if you could turn yourself invisible, where would you go?
Well, I can't get on planes at the moment. I'd get on a plane to Thailand.
I love it. Well, I love it. If you could be a member of any TV sitcom family, which would it be?
Blackish, if you've seen that on Netflix.
I have seen a couple of episodes. It's quite good.
Yeah,
I like it. Which celebrity annoys you the most?
Oh gosh, who annoys me? I don't know. Actually, Oprah Winfrey annoys me.
Does she? Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, she never used to, but but she does now. Yeah. I'll talk to you about that another day.
Absolutely, I need to know more about that. If you had to use a fake name, what fake name would you come up with?
Oh gosh, I hate these questions. Fake name. Why would I come up with a fake name?
I have no idea. It's on my little list.
I don't know. Johnny, I don't know.
That's a good fake name. What's your favorite Halloween costume?
Oh, witches. Definitely, witches costume.
Love it. What's the last film you watched?
Snowpiercer.
Okay. Is it good?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a series now as well, just on Netflix. You should watch it.
Oh, will do.
Yeah.
And last question: if all your clothes had to be one color forever, what color would you pick?
Purple.
Purple. That's a good color. That's great. That's awesome. Now, I don't know if you won, but it was very entertaining. We will find out. Luke will add up the scores. But it's come to the moment that I know you've been dreading, that I did pre-warn you about. We've been asking every single entertainer that's done one of these in Non-Stop Kids to do an interview, to do an impression. Now, I have discovered that as talented as the people are in Non-Stop Kids, and you touched on this earlier on, they are very talented. Nobody is very good at impressions. Absolutely nobody, which I'm really surprised about. But like I said to you, no matter how bad you think you can be, you're not going to be as bad as Kieran attempting to do Donald Trump, which will live in internet history as being diabolically bad.
I'm gonna go and watch that now.
Got to just go on Non-Stop Kid, just type into.
I will. It's the one I didn't watch. His one.
Kieran, it's just brilliant. It's so funny. He's got like lots of comments on there on the YouTube. Oh, it's terrible. But who have you got? Who have you got? What do you want to do? It's your choice. Anyone.
Oh, you asking me?
Yeah, you can do anyone you want to. I'm not going to force one on you. You can do any celebrity, any impression that you want. Anything.
Oh gosh, I didn't realise. I thought you were going to give me one to do.
Oh, no, I'll give you one if you want to, but you come up with your own. I'm not going to force that. That would make it really harsh. Right, you have to do this, and you've never heard of the person. No, you pick. You go for it.
You mentioned Donald Trump there. I know Kieran didn't do very well. But there's something that came to mind with Donald Trump. And, oh no, I can't do that. I can't do that. Okay, this is Donald Trump. China. We gotta go to China. We gotta go. It's coming from China. China. Sorry, it's rubbish.
Very funny. That was good. I like that. It was way better than Kieran.
I don't know if you saw the clip. I don't know if you saw the clip of him, but he was like, his mouth. He's like, I'm sure he used to wear a dummy. He used to have a dummy because his mouth's like that.
It is.
And he's like, China. That's rubbish. But there you go. Hopefully it's better than Kieran's.
I love that. I absolutely love that. That was great. That was brilliant. Look. This has been an amazing interview, like I knew it would. I'm going to leave the last question and to you. And here's the last question. It doesn't have to be about performing. It doesn't have to be about kids' entertainment or radio DJs or anything. What one piece of advice would you like to leave everybody that's watching this with to end the interview? One thing that you've garnered from all your years of experience, one piece of advice that you can leave everyone with to wrap this whole thing up.
Okay, is just to not worry too much about what might happen, and also not to worry about what's already happened. You can't do anything about what's already happened. Other than think about it too much in your head, which again is just going to stress you out. There's nothing you can do, and you can't change that. And as far as the future is concerned, just visualize and dream about what you do want. Don't worry about something that hasn't happened yet, because the worrying is usually far worse than actually what does happen. So and a lot of what my advice is all around is mindfulness. It's like just to try and practice being in the present moment, because in this very moment right now that you're listening to me talking and saying this, everything is okay. The minute your mind goes backwards or forwards, that's when the problems occur. But right now in this moment, everything is okay. So practice being in this moment all of the time, because then lo and behold, everything is okay.
That's great.
And that's the best advice I can give to everyone.
Donna, you are absolutely amazing. We love you to bits at Non-Stop Kids. Thank you so much for being on this interview. Don't forget, you can check Donna out if you want to check out Party DJ Magic. Is that right? Did I get
Party
it in the right
Magic,
order?
Party Magic
Party
DJ.
Magic DJ. So check them out on YouTube and Instagram, and also check out Donna Joseph. She's
Donna
amazing.
Joseph, yeah.
And also make sure you listen to her. She's a DJ on Hospital Radio.
Yeah, bhbn.net, that is bhbn.net. Go to the website. We're a bit up in the air at the moment because of lockdown, but I'm on Sunday. If this is out before then, Sunday 3 till 5, bhbn.net. I've got a show, and I'm slowly coming back to normal as things get to normal, back to normal in the
Check her out.
world.
She's an inspirational person. She's an amazing person. Donna, thanks for being interviewed. And don't forget, guys, please subscribe to the Non-Stop Kids on YouTube and Facebook. We put videos up every single day, and you can check us out on nonstopkids.co.uk. But thank you very much for joining us with another Entertainment Spotlight. We'll be back in a couple of days. Donna, we'll see you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.